once you get your teams right, once you get your product right, once you have a really good idea of who your ideal customer is and how you're going to make their life better in some way, then you apply capital to that, and it's just an electric mix that can give you exponential returns.
Hi everyone, I'm here with Joel from Black Ocean Capital. Thank you, Joel, for taking the time to talk with me backstage.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yes, we're here at Investment Week 23 here in LA. So, Joel, please tell us about you.
I was a military veteran. I graduated from college and I became an officer's ranger in the Army. And then after that, I went to college. I went to law school. I went to Northwestern Law School and practiced business law and contract law for a while. And I had a business client ask me to help him sell his business, and I fell in love with M&A, mergers and acquisitions, and I've been doing that professionally ever since then. So I have business partnerships that I'm the acquisitions expert that helps us acquire businesses to get business positions, and we also grow them and we prepare them for an exit that's generates a lot more money than we pay to acquire businesses. So
that's awesome. So I know you're a partner and you work as an amazing team. So in your role, I know you mentioned you talk about the deployment of the capital. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, that's one of the things I do as the strategic guide of the businesses I have. Is deployment of the capital is the resources under which that you generate returns.
Yes.
So as long as you make the most efficient use of that capital, you're doing right by your investors, and you're also getting the best returns and the best outcome with that money. So a lot of people view funds and investor funds as like a mandate, and in reality, it's a way by which once you get your teams right, once you get your product right, once you have a really good idea of who your ideal customer is and how you're going to make their life better in some way, then you apply capital to that, and it's just an electric mix that can give you exponential returns. So I recommend doing it in that order. Get all of that right before you start looking for the capital. And if you deploy it correctly, it's easier because you know exactly why you're getting the capital and what to do with it. And then you just massively exceed your investors' expectations every time.
That's awesome. And so speak a little bit more about getting it right, that part. I know a lot of businesses may not have an idea of where to start, which is why they need a team like yourself. So where would they start when they are on the journey of looking for capital from investors and meeting their expectations? Any guidance or best practices that you would like to share?
Well, again, once it's building your team, the first part of that is looking at yourself, taking a hard look and seeing if you're one of the three types of people that are in business. People naturally are artists that like to create ideas and models and business proposals. There's managers who like to run the day-to-day. That's their natural inclination and what they do well. And then there's also entrepreneurs that are naturally suited to work at least on the business or above, preferably. So once you get an idea of an honest appraisal of where you're at as the founder and owner, you get the rest of your team around you that can handle every other aspect of sales, marketing, operations, administration, or finance, as well as the other two roles of the three. And then you go to investors, ideally with a powerful, passionate pitch about not just how you're going to get an objective kind of percentage return, but just what good this thing is doing, what problem you're solving, what opportunity you're capturing, how you're making people money, you're saving them money, or getting them out of trouble. Most people that have money to invest in businesses, they not only want to get a good return, they want to think that their money is doing something well.
Exactly.
But also, I would go beyond that. I would have confidence in your thesis and in yourself and your team by asking the investor what else they can do, what else they can add to the process, because that's part of on your board. You not only want somebody that can provide capital, ideally they have the network, of people that can assist in the holes that you might need help with. Also, they have knowledge that they can share, so
That's
they can
important.
knowledge, connections. They also give you credibility, that they're not just a behind the curtains investor, just somebody that will not only give you the funds, but endorse you, give you social proof about what your business is doing. So that's kind of the ideal marriage of investor and operator. That's I look for.
Yes, it is good that you pointed that out. And so I guess take me into maybe one of your success stories, maybe just a case study, real high level, any information that you can share about a deal that's gone right and the outcome turned very successful. And I'm sure that you have several case studies, but just any particular example that you can think of. Maybe there was, a founder that you had to help, had to groom them to be prepared for, some of these decisions that they don't know that they need to make.
Well, certainly my current business partnership is with Black Ocean Capital that you talked about. We're raising money to maximize the current market forces that create a lot of potential for high returns and a high exit sale. There are a high need currently for home services companies. All the companies that service the interior and exterior of a home, are roofing and siding companies, lawn mowing companies, interior decoration, home remodeling, interior cleaning, just every aspect of what anybody would need someone to come to their home. There's an increasingly aging population that can't do that themselves because they're aging. There's people that are too busy with work or family to do it themselves. And then there's a younger generation that would just rather do something else with their time than trick or treats. So there's an increasing greater demand than ever for that. There, on the other hand, the providers, the demographics, about half of the companies that perform this work are owned by people that no longer want to own those companies. They either want to retire, or because of their health, or because they just want to do something else. So there's an opportunity to acquire those companies and keep those services going for the people that need them.
That's right.
And then there's also an entire world of investors out there that want to deploy their money into a really good project that gives them good returns and provide a good impact. So that's what Black Ocean Capital is doing. We're taking investor funds to acquire 16 types of home service companies, 300 companies inside of 3-4 years. And
Wow.
we're going to offer it to consumers through a tech platform that combines remote home monitoring and control with e-commerce. So that allows you to choose, schedule, pay for, and review services the same way you would get an Uber or a Lyft or buy a book on Amazon. So
That's incredible.
that's the competitive edge we do, which is simplifying things, which will help with the underlying businesses that stay in business after the owner gets the consideration they deserve for the business they build. And then we also help ensure that those particular set of services in our economies.
That's amazing work, and
So-
it's such a pleasure to just have this conversation. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, it's part of the M&A roll-up strategy.
Yes.
It's a strategy by which you acquire companies for a relatively low multiple of their earnings, but when you acquire a number of them together, you are able, the value of what you build is many times more than what you're paid for. And so the $1 million a year business, you can probably acquire for 2 to 3 times that $1 million. But if you combine it with 20 other $1 million businesses, it's now worth 10 to 15 times the combined amount of what they owe. So that investment strategy applied to the needs of the market as well as the needs of the owners and investors is really what we do. So
That's excellent. And you mentioned the timing being such a really critical time because of the generation, the boomer generation making an exit, and this being a wonderful time for investors to take advantage of the opportunity.
it's the greatest transfer of wealth in history.
It is.
Just because the people that are able, because the largest wealth producing event in history was the Great Depression, ironically. There was people that were sitting on cash when everything crashed. They were able to purchase, assets for next to nothing, and that's the source of the largest fortunes in America. Well, it's a similar situation now, but a lot more lot less dramatic circumstances. It's just people, I think it's 10,000 baby boomers a day are retiring. They own 40% of the businesses.
Wow.
19% of that 10,000 are business owners. So
Wow.
they're otherwise not going to get anything for the businesses they just shut down. So, we have a philosophy where we're going to pay somebody fair consideration for what they built, but just because it's just a better way to go about business. It's a safer way. You can acquire companies that already have customer lists and systems and vendor relationships, and rather than build those things, it's just a much safer way and more lucrative way to keep something going, make sure the owner gets what they've earned, and then also continue on so the employees have jobs and their customers still have the services. So
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. And for everyone that's watching this video, some people will be interested. How do we reach out to you, to Joel? So let everyone know, how would they find you and connect with Black Ocean Capital?
I'm passionate about this. Happy to talk to anybody who has interest in the business world. Like we talked about,
Yes.
there's just not, what you're doing is important because there's just not a lot of education about this wonderful world of entrepreneurial opportunities. So
true.
I can be reached at joel@blackoceancapital.com is my email. I'm also on LinkedIn, which is Joel McGuire with a G. That's the two primary ways, and I'm always happy to talk to anybody who legitimately wants to learn this, really wonderful world. So.
It is a wonderful world. It's a smarter way of doing business without starting from scratch.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Because the nice thing about it is 99% of businesses that start don't make it to 10 years.
That's right.
But if they do make it to 10 years, they have an 80% chance to make it to 30 and 40 years.
Wow.
So that's why one of the part of our deal criteria is they have to have been in business at least 10 years.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
the risk involved in the business. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Joel, for
thank
the
you.
time.
Anytime.
And thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. We'll be in the event. So thanks again.
No worries.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.